10 insane celebrity homes. Number 10. Kim Ye. Best known by their one-name moniker, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West are one of the most famous celebrity couples on the planet. Is it any surprise that they live in a home that most of us could only dream of spending even one night in? Though the couple has been in the news for negative reasons as of late, Kim being robbed and Kanye for having some supposed mental breakdown, at least they have a palace in which to spend their idle time. The couple purchased this massive Hidden Hills abode for $20 million, but weren't entirely satisfied with it, so they renovated the place. Now the 5-acre property, or tiny town, reportedly includes a 2-story playroom in case a 1-story room fully devoted to children wasn't enough, a full-size movie theater, a gym, and a basketball court. No rap mogul's house is complete without a sound studio, and of course, Kim had to have a full spa on site, so those were built as well. They even bought their neighbor's property to make room for all of the additions they wanted. North and St. West are either the most fortunate or the most soulless children on the planet. Number 9. Donald Trump. Trump and his wife Melania may not be staying at their $100 million 66th floor penthouse in Trump Tower, New York, as much now as they will be taking up residence at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue for the next 4 years. While the White House is lovely, Trump has plenty of reasons to not want to move out of his Big Apple residence. The ridiculous apartment is 3 stories whose walls, floors, and columns are covered in marble. The platters, vases, and furniture are accented with gold. Greek statues and art dominate the interior, as well as flattening, grandiose portraits of Trump and his family. Residing so high up means that the penthouse is witness to an amazing view of the city, specifically Central Park and the Manhattan skyline. Hopefully, the president won't be thinking too much about his lavish digs while he's busy with his new job. Number 8. Sinatra's Paradise. In a nod to his character in the movie From Here to Eternity, Sinatra named this property in Palm Desert, California, Via Maggio. The property is 7.5 acres and features 3 buildings that have a combined total of 8 bedrooms, 3 kitchens, 9 fireplaces, and 12.5 bathrooms. The property also includes a lighted tennis court and a helipad. Sinatra commissioned the property in the 1960s as a place to get away from the hustle and bustle of being a celebrity. Sitting over 4,000 feet above the Coachella Valley, Old Blue Eyes picked a good spot to suit his needs. The entertainers passed away in 1998, and the second owners currently have the house for sale at a price of just under $4 million. Number 7. Lil Wayne. Wheezy has been trying to sell his Miami Beach property for 2 years now without success. He lowered the price over the course of 2016 from $18 million to $12 million. Celebrities often find it difficult to sell their homes, especially if they have made modifications to suit their specific tastes. The rapper's house is 15,101 square feet, has 9 bedrooms and bathrooms, a professional recording studio, movie theater, and a rooftop skate park. The beautiful open interior home sits on the water in Miami Beach. In August of 2016, a prankster called the cops saying that someone had been shot and was bleeding at the home. Police arrived to find Lil Wayne asleep, and after finding nothing in the home, left without further incident. It was the second time such an incident has happened since Wayne purchased the house, and could be why he seems so desperate to sell the place. Number 6. Ashton and Mila. The couple made famous by co-starring in That 70s Show has enjoyed the fruits of their labor. With a daughter on the way, the couple purchased this $10 million home on April 1st, 2014 that is stupider than Kutcher's That 70s Show character. The house is on a private street in a gated community in Beverly Hills that is well away from paparazzi. The home is 7,300 square feet and has 3 huge bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. Admittedly, its dimensions are slightly dwarfed by the other insane pads on this list, but when's the last time you saw either of these people in a good movie? Number 5. Enya. When you look at the fact that Enya has sold more records than One Direction and calls Bono her neighbor, you would assume that the Irish singer has a pretty insane lifestyle. And you would be right, though not in the ways you might imagine. Despite being world famous, the singer has only been spotted in public a handful of times in the last decade, and apparently men find her dark and challenging. She lives in a small castle in Ireland as a recluse. Apparently, her only constant company is cats, a lot of cats that live on the property. When she moved in the late 90s, Enya had the entire house redone. Her bedroom opens to the Irish Sea, and she has incredible views of the Wicklow Mountains on one side and the Dalkey Islands on the other. Her music and successes are unique and will never happen again. Based off her living situation, she could also be called the world's wealthiest cat lady. Number 4. Howard Stern. $200,000 for hurricane shutters? $10 million on renovations alone? No problem for the most successful radio personality of all time. Stern reportedly spent $52 million to purchase this insane mansion in Palm Beach, Florida in early 2013 and had those refurbishments done in early 2016. The specialty shutters weren't cheap, and so, as you might guess, they are very heavy duty and able to withstand winds and debris impact of up to 276 miles per hour. They are also remote controlled and cover every one of the house's many windows. The home itself is even more remarkable. The mansion boasts 12.5 bathrooms, in case the first 12 are taken, 5 bedrooms, and sprawls over 19,000 feet across the Florida beachfront. Number 3. Dwayne Wade and Gabby Union. Dwayne Wade is a star guard for the Chicago Bulls. Gabrielle Union is a very well-known actress. The couple is, by all accounts, very happy together, and with salaries that could afford them cribs like this, who could blame them? The ecstatic couple got married on August 30th, 2014, and leased this ridiculous castle for the occasion. The house was priced at $10.9 million before it was delisted shortly before the wedding. The property was built by architect Charles Seeger for himself and includes a giant landlocked moat and formal gardens that surround the property. Number 2. Bill Gates. Though the richest man in the world is known as a charitable man who spends his money frugally, he opened his wallet a little bit to build his dream home. The home cost a record-setting $63 million to build and took 7 years to complete. The property lies in the hills of Medina, Washington, and is surrounded by nature. The estate has a variety of garages, including an underground cave that can hold 10 cars, 6 kitchens tended by a 24-hour on-call chef, a 1,500 square foot theater, a 2,100 square foot private library, and a massive aquarium. This home is incredible, but of course, it's not the only property the billionaire owns on the West Coast. He also bought a ranch in California for $18 million that has a private racetrack. Number 1. Mukesh Ambani. Ambani is no celebrity. He's the chairman of Reliance Industries, a gigantic conglomerate holding company in India. But he is a billionaire and had this crazy pad built in South Mumbai that is valued at around $1 billion, making it the most expensive private residential property on the planet. The 27-story property, called Antilia, and its unique design have been a part of the Mumbai skyline since being completed in 2010. The extravagant home's location in a destitute area of Mumbai is extremely controversial. The property has 6 floors of underground parking, 3 helipads, and a total interior space of over 400,000 square feet. The crib also features 9 high-speed elevators, a 2-story health center, and 6 floors for Ambani and his family. An entire floor is dedicated to servicing Ambani's stable of cars.
Hello and welcome once again to this award-winning show, the highlight of my week, and I know it is for my co-host, Kieran, Clair. G'day, Kieran, how you doing?
I'm good, Kieran. Where's our award? I want the award.
Oh, didn't I tell you about the award?
No, send it through.
Yeah, someone gave me a bottle of wine, but I drank it. I thought you got one too. No?
Again.
Goodness gracious. Okay, let's get underway. Here's what we're going to be looking at for you this week. Canada finds a new way to sell property. I can't wait to tell you about this one. A pilot needs a runway, right? Brexit, impact on property prices, how they deal with affordability in Hong Kong, another great story. What about a $6,000 light bulb? And Kieran, we've got a brand new segment in the show too, which is called Building Stuff-Ups. And I can't wait to show you this photo, but guess who failed at architect school? That'll give you a bit of a hint. Hey, we'll come back with those and lots more. Stay with us. Back in just a moment. Hey, g'day, Kieran. Good to be with you again, my friend.
G'day, Kevin.
Yes.
This is going to be a lot of fun. I've already seen what you've sent me. It looks great.
that new segment, we're going to try and do one every week. Well, we've got enough to do, quite a few, because believe it or not, there have been some major stuff-ups in buildings around the world. We've got some classics to show you. Hey, but first, let's go to our first story. Canada finds a brand new way to sell property. When I saw this, I thought, this is amazing that anyone would think that something's been around for as long as auctions have, that they would think that this is a new way to sell property.
Ding, I thought the same thing.
Yes. Wow, this is like a revolution.
I was waiting, as the kids say, I was waiting for my mind to be blown, and it wasn't. I just read that they were trying out auctions, it looks like the interesting thing here is, and they admitted in the article, obviously it's an overseas article, and it's for a beautiful home in British Columbia. It's quite a beautiful renovation of an old train substation, and it's a real stunner and on the lake. And I thought, oh, this is going to be quite the thing. And then I went a bit further and realised that what they're trying to do is auction the property. That's right. Under the standard rules that we understand auctions in Australia, New Zealand, and some of the other areas. It looks like the interesting thing for them, though, is that Canada obviously has these rules about blind auctions where you can't disclose the previous bidder's amount. But under this Prestige Auctions, who are hosting the event, under their website, obviously you can see them. So for Canadians, it's probably pretty exciting that they can see what the previous bids were. Yeah,
non-disclosure of bids, not knowing where anyone is, would really preclude them from doing a public auction, because that's basically what it is. It's out in the open, you can see it. But I was just taken with the fact that, you know, this is a new way to sell property. And when you understand that it's different in different parts of the world, how they transact property, you can probably understand why they look at it as a new way to sell.
That's right. And also they talk here about the prestige sector of the market.
That's right.
And sort of setting some dates and even appealing to the Chinese buyers, overseas buyers, but specifically Chinese buyers for this property. So I suppose it would be an exciting event to follow. But I've been to my fair share of auctions, and it never blew me away as being the newest way to sell property.
No, but it is interesting. Another point too that I forgot to mention that I wanted to, and that is that how different people in different parts of the world, they look at auction differently. Like in the States, it's the last resort. Even in the UK, you know, it's only mortgagee auctions that you see. And in other parts of the world, like in Canada, it's prestige property. But whereas in Australia and New Zealand, auction's just a method of sale. Doesn't matter what the property is. There's always debate about whether a property is right to go to auction or not. So that's a story for another day, I think, mate.
Yeah, I think so. The adoption of the auction in Australia is almost as a marketing campaign too, is something we've seen in the last few years, where they say we don't mind if it doesn't sell at the event. It's another way of just exposing the property. And even the difference between how common they are in, say, Melbourne and Sydney as opposed to Brisbane. So even within the same country. But there we go. I think we've covered it there.
I think we've covered that one very well. Go and have a look at that, and you'll be able to see in that story, if you click on the link below, you'll be able to see the video that Kieran was mentioning as well. Hey, quick reminder that tomorrow's show number 351 for Real Estate Talk is out. We talk about getting a life and living well. Okay. New Zealand owners are selling up a little bit quicker. This one comes from CoreLogic. Take control of the management of your own investment. We tell you how you can do that. Be careful what you wish for with negative gearing. Interesting story, this. We've had a lot of publicity about, you know, if Labor do get in and they play with negative gearing, how bad it will be. We put a different view forward in the show tomorrow. And will Sydney really tank? All that and lots more in Real Estate Talk, show number 351, which is out tomorrow. Watch out for it. Story number 2, this one comes from News Limited. A pilot needs a runway, right? A Sydney pilot flew in with a knockout offer at an auction, there we go, there's the word again, to secure an incredible home complete with its own airstrip and hangar. Why wouldn't he want an airstrip?
That's right. He ended up paying 5.39, close enough to 5.4 million for this property in New South Wales. It's a bit of a stunner. Comes with 1.1 kilometres of night and day airstrip, and also it's a pretty beautiful property inside as well. Actually, Kevin, this one, I'm going to tell you a little secret about me that not everyone knows. Okay. I had a couple of years back started getting my pilot's license.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, just for a bit of fun, really. I was too old to go into it for a profession, but I thought I'd give it a shot. Then kids came along. It's really expensive to do, so kids came along and I pulled out. But at that stage, of course, was reading a lot of the flying magazines, and this sort of idea of airstrips and the ability to be able to fly around the country is actually a bit more commonplace now. There's even a way with, I won't go into grand detail, but there's even a license now called sports aircraft where you don't have to go the whole hog. You can fly sort of lighter planes. It's a bit easier. It sort of got me thinking about the idea of the new grey nomad. You know, someone might sort of live at their house and then, fly off to
Yes.
Tasmania or fly to
Yes.
Sydney or do those sorts of things. And the rise also, if you look through the flying magazines, of housing estates designed specifically around an airstrip for just those sorts of buyers. So it's probably not, it's common in those areas, but it's probably not uncommon.
That's interesting.
Well, yeah.
That's interesting. Oh, the thought occurred to me that it adds a whole new dimension to fly in and fly out workers.
Well, it does. And that was, sometimes the big sell when you go down and have a look at an aircraft, because we all like to tire kick in that little click, is that the bloke trying to sell you the plane will probably say, now, do you do the sort of work where you might need to fly somewhere? They're looking for the tax bit right off. Yeah. But, once again, this allows you to live where you want and work where you like. So pretty interesting sort of field. Anyway, good on you.
Yeah, check the link out below. It's a great looking place. There's some nice photography taken of the airfield, and it's got its own hangar and so on. So yeah, good. Okay, next story comes from ES Homes and Property. Brexit impacting on property prices. What a week it's been in the UK Parliament. I mean, it's such a mess. And of course it was predictable, wasn't it, that this was going to impact house prices? Yeah,
I was going to say debacle seems to come to mind, chaos. So numbers have come out showing that in January there's been the biggest fall in London property prices since the market started recovering post GFC. On average, homes went down about £7,500, which I worked out to about $10,000 US, closer to $14,000 Australian, just in the 1 month. Yeah. And it's all about the confusion that reigns.
Uncertainty. Yeah.
No one knows what's happening, and including the people who are supposedly running the place, as to how it's all going to work out. And economists, of course, are saying, well, until we find a resolution, you can expect some of the same.
Yeah, that's right.
It doesn't feel that far back, and maybe I'm just getting old and that's how my memory is, but it doesn't feel that far back that we were talking about what a boom the London market was. It really has gutted it, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And I think this is only the tip of the iceberg. And as you said, that's only in 1 month. So, imagine what it's going to be like going forward. I think it's a shame.
Well, they're saying, they said in the 1 month in Westminster, which is obviously one of the gun suburbs, everyone loves it, down 14%. I mean, those sorts of big money areas, and you've got to imagine that it wouldn't be hard to spend £1 million in Westminster. You're losing a pretty sizey chunk of cash in 1 month with this thing going on. And if it's in Westminster, where I imagine all the Pollies live, maybe they'll get a wriggle on and get it sorted out before they go right.
You reckon? Well, they haven't done it up till now. They've certainly letting the clock tick down, that's for sure. Hey, stay with us. More to come. We'll come back in just a moment and tell you about how they deal with affordability in Hong Kong. This is a great story, this one. Very imaginative. And also the building stuff up. I can't wait to show you the photograph and how anyone in their right mind would think of doing this, let alone someone buying it. Hey, back in just a moment. Welcome back to the show. This next story, Kieran, comes from CNBC. How they deal with affordability in Hong Kong. This is quite amazing. So you run out of land. What do? You build more.
That's right, isn't it? And doesn't it go flying in the face of the old adage, you buy land because they're not making any more? Well, in Hong Kong, they are.
Make it.
That's right.
They're spending $80 billion to build one of the world's biggest artificial islands.
1,000 hectares of land being created out there. And, I guess considering the size of their population and how difficult it is to get a they think you've got it tough in Sydney. Imagine trying to get a deposit together for a one bedroom in Hong Kong. This one's going to end up providing 260,000 residential units, and 70% of those are going to go to public housing. Of course, reclaimed land, not the first time that we've talked about reclaimed land. Up here in Brisbane, we've got a whole airport based on that sort of thing. I think it's, it seems like a reasonable solution if you're going to talk about one of these world cities. Would you live there, Kevin, or would you be scared of sinking into the bay?
Well, I probably would live there because I think they do things very well in Hong Kong, having been there. And yeah, I probably would, and I think it's quite imaginative. But rising sea levels, who knows what's going to happen? I suppose you can build that in, can't you? If you're going to, you'd sort of build it above whatever they think the world's oceans are going to rise to. But won't that increase sea levels? If you build in, you're actually increasing the sea level. So I guess we've got to be pretty careful. Where's all the water going to go?
That's right. Big dikes. That's what they need. Big dams around the outside, just like they do in Amsterdam. Hey, in Hong Kong, I remember doing the first time I ever went there, I remember doing a bit of a trip on one of the boats out there. And they showed, this is decades ago, they showed that we saw a building that had a big hole. There's a tower block on top of a hill. It's got a big hole in the middle of it. Yeah. And the tour guide said that it was designed like that so it had a space for the dragon to fly through. I don't know. Okay.
Don't they have a cable car that goes through the middle of it?
Oh, do they? Oh, look, that's how long it's been.
Or is that Singapore? I can't remember. There's somewhere where you actually fly through in a cable car right through the middle of the building. I think it might actually be Singapore. It's either Singapore or Hong Kong. Can't remember.
If it's Singapore, it'll be in that Sentosa Island cable car.
Yeah, that's what it is. It is. It goes into Sentosa. Yep, that's the one. Yep, Singapore.
We are so worldly. How worldly are we?
Oh, unbelievable. Just back from New York too.
That's right.
Go. Hey, let's go to our next story. This one comes from the company you love, Stuff.
Oh, this is the best website.
Stuff logo. Best website ever out of New Zealand. But the $6,000 light bulb, this is a dispute over the cost of a replacement of a light bulb. Cost an investor, we estimate, about $6,000 because the property's been off the market during this dispute for about 3 months, I think it is, something like that. So I just did a quick calculation on the lost rent. How crazy, someone who is supposed to be have a good commercial brain, that you'd let something like a light bulb get in the way.
That's right. This fella, Sam Grover, the tenant, vacated. And it looks like the property managers stepped in and tried to hit him up for about $4 to replace a light bulb, which...
it was actually less than that. I think it was only about $1.30 or something.
Right.
Maybe you're right. But it was also to do with some cleaning. And
$170 cleaning costs. They said he didn't do a good enough job and they were withholding all of his bond money until he got it back. And Sam, to his credit as a tenant, sort of said, well, I'm okay. I can survive without my bond money for a while. Let's go the distance. And that's what he did. Took him to the tribunal.
And he won as well, too.
Resoundingly so.
Yeah, he won.
And I think there's probably a couple of things that really come from this story, isn't there? I mean, the idea of it being, this is ridiculous. I mean, a property manager allowing to advise a landlord to leave vacant for 3 months and go and buy a light bulb and a clean is incredible. Yeah. And also, it says something about good tenants and good landlords and vice versa, bad tenants, bad landlords.
Common sense and good business too. But the other message is, and having married one, I know, don't mess with a Kiwi.
Oh, I work with one. I know exactly what you're talking about. Was she watching?
They're very hard to negotiate with, I can tell you.
I know, they're very tough. Actually, there was one other thing in this story that kind of made me go, things that make you go, The adjudicator said that tenants weren't obliged to leave a property immaculate.
That's right,
or up to a standard a landlord might consider for a new tenant.
Yep.
And they sort of assumed that there would be some maintenance and cleaning between tenancies by the landlord. And I genuinely don't know about that. I was always of the opinion that it should be sort of walk in, walk out. But you'd have more experience, than this. Does that sound fair to you?
Or? It comes down to what's fair wear and tear. And I think certainly with our properties, we expect for over a period of time to have to replace the carpet, to have to maybe repaint. So it's reasonable that places can never, ever be handed back. I remember once when we had a rent roll, we had a landlord who was really, really picky. And we ended up asking him to leave because at the end of every tenancy, he would go in and he'd inspect every part of the property, look for any slight blemish and insist that we take it out of the rent, out of the bond, even down to, finding a hair in the carpet and demanding that the carpets be re-cleaned. You can take it too far, I think.
Look, I agree. And I think wear and tear is a fair thing. and you probably would do that. I was just wondering on the whole cleaning front. I sort of thought a tenant should have the property left in a state that they could move out and potentially someone else could move in.
Yeah.
But that seems to be the tribunal's position was the landlord would probably have to go in and do a little bit more. Anyway, that was the only debatable bit.
Well, no, I do agree that it should be move out, move in. Things like, cleaning the stove, that was always something that we had a lot of problems with. You go in and the stove would be dirty, or the cupboards might have needed a bit of a clean out. So I think, it's got to be in a fit condition for someone to move straight in so that the landlord doesn't have to go in and do a $100, $200 or $300 clean out. Yeah. Agreed. We're in agreement. Hey, let's go to our building stuff up for the week. Have a look at this photo. Now, I don't think it needs a lot of explanation, but here we've got a garage on a second floor with no way to get into it. Surely there must be something else going on here. Do you think they were planning on building a ramp across from the building next door? Maybe?
Yeah. You know what, Kevin? I reckon you've got this all wrong. I reckon this guy is a visionary. He's watched a lot of the Jetsons.
Ah, of course.
You can see where I'm going with this.
Yes, I can.
Flying car.
You are right.
I know it was built in the 1980s from the look of the design on this one.
Yeah, very much so. And it looks like it hasn't been maintained either all that well.
No. They spent all that money retaining the garage. They haven't got anything left.
Yeah, I thought it looked like there was like a car park over the road, well, sort of out the front there. Maybe they were just going to build a ramp. Maybe they just forgot to build the ramp. I don't know.
I agree. It does look like they're going to put a concrete run from front to back. Just unusual that they got to the whole stage of putting on the panel lift door on the front of the garage, and then must have gone, driveway.
Unless they had a panel lift door left over and they just whacked it in there thinking, we'll extend out a little bit later and maybe that'll be big opening doors or something. Who knows?
Anyway,
let's
have
stop
you got
guessing.
the name of that builder? I'd like to remove them from my advisory list.
Yeah, your list of who failed at architect school. I think this guy definitely did. Hey, we're going to have one of these for you every week. We've got a cracker coming up next week as well, so don't miss it. Kieran, Clair, I've got to say farewell. Thank you very much for being with us. Thanks to all the team who put these stories together. If you've got any stories you'd like us to talk about, we would love to hear from you. Send them in to us, and we'll certainly use them. If we do, we will or will not give you credit, depending on whether you're happy for us to do that. So just let us know when you send your story in. Okay, Kieran, having said all that, don't forget Real Estate Talk is out tomorrow. And where are we? Yes, we've got our auction update coming out later today. That'll tell you about what auctions are coming up this weekend. Kieran, Clair, thank you so much for your time from Bricks and Mortar Media. Thanks again.
Thank you, Kevin. Joy as always for me.
Is this seat taken? I'll just get a glass of water, please. I have to save all my money because I'm here to find my sister. She's been taken.
Taken? Like
by men who sell hot white virgins to cajillionaires on yachts.
I am very moved by your story. Order anything you like.
I'll have a club sandwich and an order of fries, 2 slices of cake. Do you want any cake?
No.
3 slices of cake and a Diet Coke.
Impressive.
I'm a con artist.
Sisters in arms.
I had no idea how small time I was until I met you.
Penny. Why are women better suited to the calm than men?
Because we're used to faking it.
Because no man will ever believe a woman is smarter than he is.
Is it valuable?
$500,000.
I like it because it's shiny.
I could be the partner you never knew you needed. Teach me your sugar baby ways. Take this to the guest room, butlery person.
First lesson, there's nothing more compelling to a man than a vulnerable woman. Observe.
Wow, you can just tear up like that. Can you make the tear roll down your cheek? Oh.
Now you try.
Okay.
Are you constipated?
Well, she's all you'd ever want. She's the kind I'd like to flaunt and take to dinner.
If you want to be like me, you must be trained for any situation.
She always knows her place. She's got style, she's got grace. She's a win.
She's ready.
He's the mark.
He's a tech millionaire.
Billionaire, I bet.
Try to be as inconspicuous as possible.
Coming through. Yep, blind person walking here. If this person would just scoot over. Would you mind, sir? Sir?
Men always underestimate us, and that is what we use.
You let her get away!
Trashy dress, you did it again.
Release the peasants!
She must mean pheasants, yeah?
Don't worry, darling, she's a terrible short.
That was unexpected.